Hello. I'm back, and mostly my purpose here today is to there we go. My purpose here today is to talk about alcoholism and recovery from alcoholism and addiction. I've kind of changed my direction a bit. I've been doing these videos for, well, off and on actually. The truth is, for a number of years, and I started this channel in, I think, 2009, but today we're going to talk about recovery and from addiction and alcoholism, and that's the main thrust. Who I want to talk to a lot is the families. Uh, I find that family is a tough go for families of addicts and alcoholics, because there's so much misunderstanding. It's confusing. It really is. If you have an addict or an alcoholic in your family, and almost everybody does have an addict or an alcoholic in their family, or somebody you suspect is an addict or an alcoholic, it's confusing. It's like, holy shit, how do I deal with this? And first of all, it's often a subject that's taboo. We don't talk about dad's problem or mom's problem or our son's problem, because we don't upset them. Because if we upset them, maybe they'll drink or use again, or whatever. They'll get mad at us and they'll drink at us. And so it's kind of difficult when we can't talk about it, isn't it? And so that's confusing. And then, if we have a son or a daughter or somebody in our family who's started into the path of recovery, maybe multiple times, we're wondering, why the hell does it not work? It must be the recovery program's fault that it doesn't work, because we don't know, we don't understand the disease. And what I want to do is kind of demystify the disease a bit for you, and for you know for everybody, and also for the addict and the alcoholic. The addict and the alcoholic doesn't understand either. He wakes up or she wakes up in the morning and says, "Fuck, how I don't know what to do. I am lost." Often, I remember my epiphany moment when, basically I woke up with my last hangover. I remember my last hangover. I remember my last drunk. And for me, drinking always came with drugging as well, or often did, but drinking was my drug of choice. And I remember my last morning, I woke up and thought, my God, something has to change, but I didn't understand the disease. I didn't understand that I was living in fear. I didn't understand that fear, uh, was like if there's such a thing as the devil, his name is fear, and I just didn't get that. And I didn't, understand why I acted the way I did. And that until years, it took me years to realize that I drank medicinally. I used medicinally because I couldn't, I didn't, I couldn't be with myself. And for a variety of reasons. One, because of my dishonesty and the delusion I lived under. So I'll tell you just a quick story. I was with a fella today. We were talking about, he just came back from going out. Now, he'd been in a treatment center. He just spent like thousands of dollars for a treatment center, a private treatment center, thousands of dollars, big dollars. And so he had been there for, I think it's a 1 month program, and he was home, and he didn't come out of the treatment center and start going to like a 12-step meeting. He came out of the treatment center and stayed home, and he thought that if he could just stop drinking, he'd be fine. So he kept smoking pot. He's a daily pot smoker, and and so we suffer under that delusion. We think that, if we can just get rid of uh, one addiction, that will be enough. But the what we need for change is must go very, very deep, very deep. And so if we're still smoking pot on a daily basis, for most of us, It doesn't work. I don't, if you ask me and I'm not a doctor and I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm a guy in recovery who's worked with hundreds and hundreds of guys over the years. And if you smoking pot, generally I'll say, well, if you want my help, come back when you're ready to let go of that. It's not easy to let go of. It really isn't. It's like the last, for many addicts, who want to keep smoking pot, it's like their safety net. They think, well, you know, but they really, to have the complete psychic change that needs to happen, they're going to have to let go of that too. So this fellow was still smoking pot, and he'd been out of treatment for a week. And then there's many of us have an addiction around relationships and around sex, and so he called up an old girlfriend, and decided he was going to go and have dinner with her, and when he was looking for comfort, right? So pot was giving him a certain level of comfort, but he was looking for some other comfort, and he was pretty sure that he was going to get the comfort he needed from her, and when he arrived at the restaurant, she'd already ordered him a drink. And because he didn't have any program, he doesn't have any defense. Literally, on his own, he's defenseless. He couldn't drum up the courage to tell her. He said, I was afraid to tell her that I had quit drinking. And rather than tell her that he quit drinking, he drank, and that I believe was on a Tuesday night. And by Saturday, after drinking Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, of course, he ended up with an impaired driving and an impounded vehicle. I mean, it was a real shit story. And so, his parents are like, we just spent, a bloody fortune sending this guy to a treatment center. What is wrong with him? And we just don't understand. The disease is not easy, many a dead alcoholic and addict wanted to recover, but wanting, my mother used to say, want in one hand and shit in the other, and see which one fills up first. She did. Mom was pretty graphic, but wanting isn't, it's like saying, I want to love you, either do or you don't, and same with recovery, wanting won't get it. Wanting won't get us there. And um, so I believe this kid wants to recover, but he's still smoking pot. And so somehow we have to make a stand, and we make a stand. And for many of us got recovery, we had to have a complete psychic change, and to get that psychic change was Dr. Jung, Carl Gustav Jung, who in the early days of the 12-step world said, that for many of us we were hopeless without a complete psychic change. And the psychic change that we go through is uh, our life shifts from what can I get to what can I give. Literally, I know it seems simplified, but we go from what's in it for me to how can I serve. And that transformation from a fear-based to a love-based life is it's not an easy shift, because we're convinced that we have to manage our own lives, and we have to be, we have to fully realize that we can't manage our own lives, because we're always managing from fear. We're always managing from, what am I going to get? What if I lose something? So we're afraid we're going to lose something, or we're afraid we're not going to get something, and from that perspective, we're always trying to manage, and it's painful. And that's where the pain begins. It's in that selfishness, right? Uh, and in that selfishness, we're destined to fail. Always destined to fail. So my message, the recovery message, is simple. It really is simple. So we recognize, one, that we have a problem, and the symptoms of that problem are often drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex, food. We're over the top in those areas, to the extent that we, literally eat ourselves to death, or we gamble everything away, or we can't be in a relationship because we're addicted to sex, and so we're never honest, um, or drugs and alcohol and what happens there. So those are the symptoms of, but the root of it is our selfishness. You know, we got twisted, so that we're believing that we have to look after ourselves, and we have to make sure that we get our share. We're always measuring, how do I look? How do I look? How do I look? And it's all just, it's an empty um, journey when we're living in that journey. So I know this sounds like, well, yeah, but what do we do? How do we quit drinking? Well, quitting drinking is easy. I quit drinking a lot. I couldn't stay quit because my of the way my mind was twisted. So that's why we need a recovery program that doesn't, there's no, cut and dry cookie cutter way to get that, there's no cookie cutter recovery program. It's kind of customized, and that's why you can go to therapy for a long, long time, and the therapist who doesn't understand recovery hasn't, it's hopeless, and because we're not really honest with the therapist. I mean, I had two fellas in the house today. We read a chapter in the big book today, and there was a lot of honesty. It was like, holy shit, it wouldn't have happened with a therapist because I could, you know, so here I am, some guy without an education in this, except 40 years of education in it, but not without a certificate, but able to carry a message that has meaning and depth. And those fellas left today with like a different perspective. And I'm not special, as lots of people in the 12-step world can do this, but families don't understand. So I'm just trying to get a message across to families and say, look, there is a way, and there's a way for you to be in that as well. So recognize that your recovery is key as well. This is a family disease, so we could talk about that. And we're going to keep talking about that. And I'm going to interview people who are in recovery. I'm going to interview people over the next little while who are facilitating recovery, people who are working as professionals and also have their own 12-step experience. Um, so we're going to go deep into that. I want to see if I can make a difference in the understanding and the acceptance of the disease. But it requires letting go of some old ideas, um, so yeah, and changing some beliefs and building a relationship with a higher power. And it doesn't matter to me. It was funny with these young fellows today. We talked about this, and both of them had been caught up in what I call a Sunday school idea that they'd gotten of God. And so I help them put those things to bed. And let's find a new way of looking at this higher power business. So I have a lot of experience in that, and that's my deal. Okay, you guys. So that's a little bit of the message today. What did I write? I love this sometimes. I just sit down and write this stuff and then it comes. So I wrote today, many a dead alcoholic and addict wanted to recover. Wanting and doing are not the same. The problem is that the mind of the addict sometimes can't see the difference. The mind of the addict cannot see the difference between wanting and doing. We often think that because we believe that we understand the disease, we have it licked. Long-term recovery is a multifaceted way of living. We couple awareness of the symptoms of the disease and how they show up for us with a realization that we cannot manage our own recovery with the same sick mind that seems already to be trying to kill us. We need a boatload of desperation, willingness, humility, and gratitude and prayer. Gratitude and prayer. For many of us, not many of us like the fact that we were defeated. If we don't get that, then if we don't get that, then real recovery or awakening cannot come. So there you go. If we don't get that, then real recovery or awakening cannot happen. Huh. Anyway, there we go. So I'm going to read from the daily reflections, or this, not daily reflections, it's a 24-hour day book. I've been reading this for a while, and since last May, and I kind of got past the point, I guess, in October or so last fall, when I thought, holy shit, I think I'm going to do this for a full year, and that's what we're doing. We're kind of and some days I give a little talk like I just did, and then I read, and they're very similar. It's like holy shit, you know. You can see the the beauty of it. So February 25th, fifth in this book, 21st, sorry, eighth thought for the day, 12-step thought for the day. I go to the 12-step meetings because it helps me in my business of keeping sober, of course. And I would talk today with these young guys about the meetings, and they've been going to like 3 or 4 a day. They're desperately wanting to get this. Of course, a lot of guys come in and they think they're going to get it, and then they won't have to, you know, do it. And the question is, you know, how long do I have to go to these meetings? And I tell them they have to go until they want to go. Then they won't have to go; they'll just go. Um, okay, keeping sober, and I try to help other alcoholics when I can, because it's part of my business of keeping sober. I also have a partner in this business, and that's God. That's right, my employer. I pray to him every day to help me to keep sober. So, you know, that's the beauty of that's the humility part. You know, we need a power greater than us because we could not do it on our own. And if you have an alcoholic or an addict in your family, and you know that we're great quitters. We quit often. We convince you. You know, we're like it. We pass the lie detector test when we say I'm done. That's it. I'm never going to drink again. And you know, in 2 days or 2 weeks or 2 months later, we're shit faced and you know, we think what happened? Well, what happened is that we have a disease that's beyond our mental control. Willpower. I love to use this analogy of willpower. Try using willpower when you have diarrhea. Get it? You know, how much will willpower do for you when you have diarrhea? Well, it's the same with the disease of alcoholism or addiction. Willpower doesn't do it, right? Oh, yes, Heather, I wish your parents had found recovery. And, you know, I remember when I first sobered up, I was going to go sober up my dad. That didn't work, you know, but I learned to love him the way he was. He never did get recovery, you know, the way that you know, I wanted, but I just eventually realized that I was not going to have a loving relationship with my dad if I didn't do it. So I let go of the need to fix him and just loved him the way he was. And it was beautiful. We ended up, you know, as his life ended, you know, with a beautiful relationship. Um, okay, back to reading this. Yeah, I said, I pray to him every day to help keep me sober. As long as I keep in mind that liquor can never be my friend again. So that's the deal, you know, it's so clear. I mean, this fella I told you about, you know, he goes to meet the gal at the restaurant. She's already ordered a drink. And I said, what did you think? And he said, well, first of all, I didn't want her to know that I wasn't drinking. Because what he wanted was to get laid, right? And he wanted, and so he was lying. He was, you know, he was trying to get something, and he was lying, you know, thinking if he told the truth that he wouldn't get it, so, but you know, my gosh, expensive, cost him, you know, his recovery, right? Um, Yeah, it cost him a fortune, cost him, I mean, unbelievable days of pain, and then eventually wrecking his truck and getting impaired. And wow, just because he was powerless at that moment. You know, he couldn't see past this little microscopic moment, you know, when fear told him he couldn't tell the truth. So he made up in his mind. He said that his thought came to him, a couple won't hurt. We have a story in the 12-step world that when you get run over by a train, it's the engine that kills you. It's the first one. It's not, the second or the 10th car in the train that kills you. So, and it's the same with for us. If you're alcoholic or addict, it's not the 10th drink. It's the first one. If we never have to worry about the 10th drink if we don't take the first one. Anyway, but common sense doesn't help either. Anyway, as long as I keep in mind that liquor can never be my friend again, but is now my deadly enemy, as long as I remember that my main business is to keep sober and that it's the most important thing in my life. I don't see liquor as my enemy. I don't even have a consciousness of it. It's not my enemy. It's just it's not part of my life. It'd be like, I don't know. Uh, I can't even think of something to compare it to, but it's not. I don't look at it as my enemy. People drink, and that's their business. And there's booze around the world. That's people have drank in my home over the years, but I don't serve alcohol to my addict friends. But anyway, and then he says, I believe I'll be prepared for that critical moment when the idea of having a drink pops in my mind. Yes, but that's brought on by our new relationship with life, our complete psychic change, as Carl Gustav Jung talked about it. When that idea comes, will I be able to resist and not take the drink? So it's not a resistance. We're free. We're set free. We completely have a shift. It's just not even an issue. Meditation for the day. I will be more afraid of spiritual unrest, of soul disturbance, of any ruffling of the mind than of earthquake or fire. When I feel the calm of my spirit has been broken by emotional upset, then I must steal away alone with God until my heart sings and all is strong and calm again. Calm times are the only times when evil can find an entrance. I will beware of unguarded spots of unrest. I will try to keep calm. I will keep calm no matter what turmoil surrounds me. All possible as we grow in this relationship. Prayer for the day. I pray that no emotional upsets will hinder God's power in my life. I pray that I may keep a calm spirit and a steady heart. Okay, isn't that awesome? I just, yes, that's right. Marlowe says, hey, buddy, first the man takes the drink, then the drink takes the man. Then the drink takes the drink, takes the man. First the man takes the drink, then the drink takes the drink, then the drink takes the man. Yes, that's it. We've all been there. Those of us in recovery, we understand that. So a couple of quick things before I let you go. We're going to, tomorrow night is Monday night, and I have a sharing group. So it's really an open sharing group. I'm going to send out the Zoom information on it 7 o'clock tomorrow night. We might do a little meditation at the end, but we've kind of converting what's been a meditation group for a long time to more of a sharing group. And tomorrow at 7. So you're all welcome to join. It's not a therapy group. It's not really a 12-step group either, but it's a listening group. I think I have a saying that listening is loving. Listening is loving. Love is an action word. It's a verb. And one of the actions that we take, or loving actions in life, is to listen. And so that's what we do on Monday, and it's really just come up because so many people are separate, and at home and alone and feeling this whole COVID thing. So sharing group on Monday night, you're welcome to join us for that. So let's just take like 2 minutes, literally just 2 minutes to drop in. You can make this a practice. Everywhere, anywhere. You can do this. You can pull over in the car when you're kind of frustrated. Not to think, but to not think. Some people might call it meditation. I call it sitting, dropping in, being here now. So just come into your breath for a minute. Two minutes, just drop in. Be in your breath. Be in your body. Experience your body. Feel your feet. Feel your, wherever your butt's sitting. Feel the couch or the chair beneath your ass. Just feel it. Be here. Bring your awareness into your shoulders, to your throat, to your breath. Be here now. Drop in. Sometimes I have a little prayer. My prayer is called thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just try a thank you prayer. Thank you. I have a help me prayer too. It goes like this. Help me, help me, help me. Help me, thank you. So no matter what you're in, what stress it's happening, how things might look like they're getting so crazy, literally just sit for a minute, drop in, reconnect, the breath, the prayer. Be here now. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you're on YouTube watching, love it if you'd subscribe. And if you have anybody in your family or anybody's family that you know that's dealing with alcoholism or addiction, share this. And my mission is to carry a message to the families of alcoholics and addicts, and help them understand and to find their own peace. Their own peace. They've lost a child, they've lost a family member, a mother or father to the disease, and it's still haunting them. They still don't understand. Let's create understanding and create love and listening, and healing. Okay, love you guys. Thanks so much, and we'll talk soon. Maybe see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Cheers.